Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha and I am the knitter, knitwear designer, blogger, YouTuber behind the account Strukturstrikk. So yeah, I design knitwear in my free time. It's a fun little activity that keeps my creative side and my math analytical side happy. And I've been doing it for a little bit. I released my first design in spring 2022, and since then I think there have been like 14, 15, something like that, garment designs that I have put out into the world, and it has just been such a fun adventure. And so I was thinking, because like I've been on a bit of a design slump, and then I got back into designing, and then I was like, it would be really fun to record the whole process of a design from start to finish. And I don't know, maybe give you guys some inspiration if you've been thinking about branching out into knitwear design and you haven't yet, or you just want to watch the process of a sweater being made. I know it's really fun for me. It's really satisfying to see this idea take shape and turn into a finished garment. So yeah, today I am going to be, well, not today, but like starting today, I will be designing and knitting a cable knit sweater from start to finish. So I will just take you along this whole process with me. And it is so new. I haven't even opened the yarn yet. So the design that I'm making is in collaboration with Hobbii Yarn. They very nicely sent me some yarn for their Natural Beauty campaign. This is targeted to more intermediate advanced level knitters. They say specifically maybe older knitters who've been doing it for a while and are looking for maybe a bit more of a challenge while still knitting a fairly enjoyable garment. So they want lots of texture, they want different stitch patterns, they want interesting construction techniques, and I love textured knits. They're my favorite thing to design. I love the tactile feel kind of like all these different stitch patterns. So what I am going to be designing is, I can juggle it a bit here, I don't know if you can see it, a fun kind of different cable motif. I'll put a picture in case you can't see that. Different motif cable knit sweater. So I designed the Strukturstrikk sweater, which is kind of like, it's a take on the Strukturstrikk that was a very big thing a couple years ago, where it uses knit purl motifs and it creates a bunch of different little patterns that kind of, they're blocked on top of each other. And that's what I want to do with this new yarn. So I'm going to open it and I'm going to show you what they sent me. Hopefully I'm not going to cut the yarn when I do this because I'm doing this one-handed. All right, I think we got it. Oh, it's double wrapped. No. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of yarn. Okay, so this came in a packet, but I have a couple little individual skeins around. So what I got from them is Hobbii Tweed Delight. I don't really have a viewfinder, so I hope that that is showing up. Otherwise, I will put a close-up image in there. So Hobbii Tweed Delight is, it's one of their own yarns. They usually want you to design with, or they always want you to design with something that they sell and they produce and they manufacture, which is fairly obvious because then they own the rights to the pattern and they want to promote their yarn. So this is Hobbii Tweed Delight. It is made up of 85% wool, 10% acrylic, and 5% viscose. This is the color 01. It's their most, I think it's their most neutral-y version of the tweed. So Tweed Delight comes in a whole host of colors. I've designed a sweater in Tweed Delight before. It's the Adams Morgan sweater. I'll pop a little picture of it somewhere on the screen so you can see it. And I really enjoyed knitting with Tweed Delight, and that's why I wanted to pick it back up. It is a Aran weight yarn, I want to say. I think it's an Aran weight yarn. And they recommend it for use on 4.5 to 5 millimeter needles. For cables, I like to go up to 5.5, so that is the needle size I will be swatching with today. And it is, yeah, it's designed in Denmark, made in Turkey. It's a, they call it 4 medium weight yarn. Yeah, so I'm gonna swatch this up. I'm going to swatch every single cable texture except for the first one because I used that in my Adams Morgan sweater, so I already have a gauge swatch for it. I've kind of already cheated a little bit, but I'm gonna do the rest, and yeah, I'll take you on the little swatching journey with me, and yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, first impressions of the yarn, which is over here, because I just made my first gauge swatch. So this isn't blocked or anything. This is, I just knit it up, cast it off. This is one repeat, well, kind of one repeat of the chart that I made. So the thing about, I don't know if you guys have worked with tweed yarns before. Usually they're kind of spun, so they have at least 2 plies. They're spun together. Hobbii Tweed Delight isn't like that. So let me see if I can, it's focusing. Maybe if I move my face away, it'll focus, maybe. No. Okay, anyway, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. And I'll try to put like a close-up picture in here or something. Hobbii Tweed Delight is a little bit like an unspun yarn. It's what it feels most like to me, texture-wise. It's kind of like, if you can see this, it starts to come apart really easily. Yeah, that's kind of the texture of it. And I already knew that because I had worked with it before for my Adams Morgan sweater. And so the really new thing to me, I guess, was first of all to see if it was the same as the Adams Morgan sweater, if they hadn't changed anything about the yarn manufacturing, which I don't think they have. It feels pretty consistent. But also the color. I just wanted to see, because Adams Morgan is very bright, it's very vivid, it's a baby pink base, and then it has these little tweedy bits in different colors, orange, yellow, blue, green, off the top of my head. And this is more of a neutral. It is just like an off-white cream, and then it has little black tweedy bits. So this is how it's swatched up. And I was looking for more of a neutral, so I really kind of like that. And I do like this stitch definition. I think it looks really nice on the cables. I have to see again how it blocks, but I do like this. I think this is nice. The only issue is, I think you can see this more on the back. Sometimes the tweedy bits, yeah, like this here, like they pill off. So that's a bit annoying when that happens. Usually when I see it happen on the front, I just pull that little bit off, and then the rest of it's pretty well incorporated. But yeah, I really like the feel. It's a very, very soft yarn. It feels, I mean, I haven't tried to wear it directly on my body or anything, but it feels nice to knit with. It doesn't like, I have a little bit of dry skin on my fingertips. It doesn't catch on my skin, which is nice. And it's really, it feels like it's a good, yeah, this feels like it's fairly good on 5.5 millimeter needles. I don't think I need to size up or down. The pros, when you're swatching for something you've designed yourself, is that you don't have to try to meet anyone's gauge. You're kind of setting the gauge yourself, right? So that's kind of the nice bit, is you just choose your needle size and you're like, yeah, I like how the fabric looks on this needle size. And then that's just what you go with. You don't have to finagle trying to get the measurements very specific to anything. You just, adjust the whole pattern based on your gauge, which is super cool. So yes, I will knit up my other 2 swatches and then I'll check back in with you guys. I will show you the other 2 swatches. We'll block them together and then we'll go over a little bit about what I imagined for the design and then we'll get knitting for real. So I am so excited about that. Catch you later. All right, so I couldn't take you guys along for the blocking because I needed a hand to hold the phone and needed a hand to do the blocking, and so that was a bit rough. But I have made my 3 swatches and I put them out to dry overnight. So the important thing with cable knitting I've learned is that you need to not overblock it because you won't overblock the sweater, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, sometimes I think people have the tendency to like really stretch out their gauge swatches in a way that they're not going to stretch out their final garment, and then you will get a bigger gauge on your swatches than you get on your sweater. Your sweater will be too tight. So I very loosely blocked my cable swatches so that I got the tension that I kind of want. It's like a little bit, it has a bit of give in each swatch. It's not like stretched out to the extreme. But yeah, this is how my motifs are going to look, with the exception of the top motif. There's going to be one more here, and it's going to be the broken lattice stitch from my Adams Morgan sweater, which will be like this pattern. So it'll be this at the top and these 3, and then some ribbing at the bottom. So I am just going to wait for these to dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure the stitch and the row gauge for each one, and that will help me determine if I need to increase some stitches or decrease some stitches between each of the transitions. I think this guy is going to be the problem child because every other motif you just use twisted stitches, which you can do without a cable needle. It's like this kind of little stitch, but these are kind of constricting cables, so they will bring the fabric in a lot more than these 2 do. So each one obviously is a different number of stitches. I did like 1 stitch pattern repeat per swatch. So yeah, I have a lot of math to do. So I'll work up my stitch math and then I will bring you guys back in to talk about the final sweater math. All right, let's do this. Hello. It is a snowy, kind of really cold and blustery day outside, so it is the perfect day to sit inside and talk about pattern math. So I worked up these swatches, these 3 that I showed you guys last time, and basically what I did is I just measured the row and stitch gauge of each swatch, and then I put it into a handy dandy little Excel sheet like this so that I know the gauge of each separate swatch, and then I can kind of adjust stitch counts based on the stitch gauge of each swatch. So what I had in mind, just to refresh your memory, is something like this, where I have, this is cable pattern A, B, C, and D. And so when I design a sweater, what I like to do is calculate what I want the finished width to be of the sweater. So I like for cable sweaters to have about 15 to 20 centimeters of positive ease. And what that means is that the sweater should be 15 to 20 centimeters larger than my bust size. So I usually calculate for that, and then I calculate how many stitches should go into that width. So that for me would be 192 in chart A. So that's kind of, I would split that number in half and cast on 96 for the back, and then say, okay, I need there to be 96 in the front after I cast on each shoulder and then join them in the round. So what I'm thinking shaping wise is that I know that this is kind of a very rudimentary diagram, but what I want is these little short rows on the shoulders, and I don't want a V-neck. I want more of a crew neck fit. So I'm gonna have to modify the front panels to make that happen. And I want, because usually like I measure a sweater that fits really well on me and I take the measurements from that, and that's how I design and grade my sweaters. So I like a length of about 46 centimeters from shoulder to hem, because that sits in a nice crop length for me. So then I went to my pattern information and calculated how many rows I would need, essentially, in each pattern based on the row gauge to get to a final number of, it is a little bit more than 46, but that's because I have some short row shaping, so I have a couple more rows in chart A that I've calculated for. And then design-wise, I'm thinking I want a little split down here at the sides, kind of like in the soldag sweater, to accommodate for the little friend in my belly, and also because I think that side split sweaters just fit really nicely, and they pair well with maxi dresses and high-waisted trousers and things that I like to wear in my wardrobe. So I don't think it's bad to design kind of based on what you like to wear. That is what I end up doing. So yeah, I have done all of my calculations for how many rows I should be knitting of each pattern, and then also like how many stitches I should be increasing in each repeat so that I maintain the same gauge, because that is why I swatched for all these different patterns. Because yeah, I mean, obviously, like this is what's called a boa constrictor cable. So that really pulls in the fabric. So if I want to have a seamless transition from this to this to this, then the total stitch number has to change. So yeah, that's what I calculated. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to cast on. And after I cast on and I have made my way through maybe pattern A, the like broken lattice stitch that you don't see here, the one that's missing. When I've made it through that, then I will bring you guys back in and show you a little bit of the shaping and the fit. Okay, checking in. I might have gone a bit nuts, and I knit a lot. So I was originally just going to cast on the back panel and knit chart A and then show you guys what it looked like, and then keep knitting chart B and then knit each of the separate shoulders, join them together, and knit in the round. But I have done all of that because I just got so into it. Mea culpa, sorry. So I am just gonna walk you through what it looks like right now. So I did try this on before I joined in the round because I really dislike putting stitches on stitch holders and trying the work on as I go. And I know that that's a big thing that you have to do when you're designing, because otherwise how do you know it fits? But my excuse here for not doing that so much is because I'm knitting cables. So as you're knitting up cables, the feel of the sweater and the fit of the sweater is going to be very different than post blocking. So that's why it's really important to have all these different swatches with the different motifs and the measurements, and kind of, so you really just have to trust the process. But when I tried it on, I really liked, well, I mean, it wasn't a perfect fit, which is good, because if it fit perfectly pre-blocking, then you know that it's gonna be kind of afterwards. But I liked how it felt on me. I like how far up the back goes, and then having a bit of a lower, so where this would sit kind of is like here, like a lower front. And then what I want to do with this design is I want to make it a bit of a turtleneck. So I want to have maybe 14 centimeters of ribbing that come up and then fold over. So it is 7 centimeters up, and 7 centimeters up for me in the front as I'm wearing this would be about here in the back. So it would come right up to the base of my neck. And I think that is a good height for a neckline, because I want a little bit more coverage in the back, but I don't want a lot of restricting turtleneck in the front. So I think this is good to just have it come down like this. And I'm currently knitting on chart C. So you can see these kind of starting to, these little leafy things starting to emerge. And this is what chart B looks like. And chart A, because I've never done chart A in this color, so this is new. But yeah, I like, so what I did here was I did short row shaping on the shoulders, which is the reason for this little slope, and I increased stitches along the neckline edge throughout chart A, as you can see here, and I tried to keep this stitch as a knit stitch because I think that's a lot easier than to go back and to pick up stitches for the neckline. So I always like to do that in the patterns that I design, just keep a nice, clean, pattern-free edge. And then it just happened to work out that I joined at chart B. So I have the entirety of chart B in the front, but I only have chart A on the shoulders. And then in the back, I've got chart A, B, and C starting there. But yeah, I am really, really happy with how this is going so far. So the diameter of the sweater now is about 100 centimeters pre-blocking, which means it should grow a bit more afterwards, according to my math, which is good because that is exactly what I wanted. And yeah, I mean, I'm not taking it off the needles and trying it on, but it's kind of, you can see with the bunching, kind of, you know how like it's like this and then it's bunching in so much, and this is an 80 centimeter cord. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to, because I'm one of those people that doesn't like trying on the body as I go. I try on the yoke, and then if the yoke fits okay, then I just continue with the body. And so I will continue with the body, and once I have the split for the ribbing, probably I'm not going to put the split in chart D, is my kind of decision moving forward with this, because I think that that would make the body too short maybe. So I'm going to knit chart D in the round, and then I'm going to make the split before the ribbing. So like the ribbing will be split, and then I don't think I'm going to do a high-low. I think I'm going to keep the ribbing 6 centimeters on the front, 6 centimeters on the back. But yeah, then I will try it on once I make the split, and I will show you guys what it looks like on pre-blocked. So yes, let's go. Okay, I'm finally ready to show you guys what this looks like on. I hope you can hear me. There's some construction outside, so I'm just gonna back up to show you, and I really hope the sound picks up. I'm trying to like project, but I'm right near the phone. Okay, so this is what it looks like without the hello, there's the belly. This is what it looks like without the ribbing so far. I don't know, I like it. I think it fits really nicely. I mean, it's obviously gonna get looser when it's blocked, but this is really nice. I like the fit. Like I told you guys before, I was planning on doing the split ribbing, but now that I see it on, so like I know that a split ribbing would be good for me because I'm 20 weeks pregnant, so I could use a little split in the side here. This is like halfway on the ribbing, but I think for the sake of the pattern, it might just like floof out of it too much, if you know what I'm saying, if I do a split ribbing. So what I'm going to do now that I see it on is I've already decreased. So I was like consistently increasing stitches through the body, just because the gauge on the different cable patterns kind of got tighter and tighter just because of the nature of the cables. So I had to increase the stitch count in order for the final circumference measurement to stay the same. But now as I go down to the ribbing, I realized, like I knit one row without any decreases, and I realized it was gonna like floof back out again, even if I joined the ribbing. So I ripped back, I decreased some stitches for the ribbing in the front, And so I think what I'm going to do is just continue with that same rate of decrease, and I am going to join the ribbing and knit the ribbing in the round. It's still going to be 6 centimeters long, so by the time I'm done with the ribbing, it'll be like yay long. It'll cover like the whole bump, but I think that's a good length. Maybe a little shorter, maybe like this long. Yeah, so I think it'll be like this much longer. So it'll be a pretty good length. It'll come down, it'll cover like enough of my stomach area. It's I like kind of an in-between, but it's not like I don't like my sweaters to be too cropped, but I also don't like them to be like really, really long. I don't like that feeling of like you're about to sit on your sweater. So I like it to be a little shorter than that. And I think, yeah, if it hits like right above the bum area, that's a good place, right? For a sweater to be cut off. I think that's good. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to join it in the round and I'm going to knit the ribbing in the round. It's just going to be your standard 1x1 ribbing finish with the 2 kind of setup rows for an Italian bind off, and then I'm going to do an Italian bind off because I think those look so nice and so neat. But oh my goodness, now that I'm looking at this in the camera, you guys, look at these cables. Oh, they look so good together. I'm so happy with the way this came out so far. I think this is like a really nice contrast. And then you get like the really big cable down at the bottom. And I realize I'm off the screen because I just want to show you the sweater. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And it's going to be a drop shoulder, and that sits perfectly so far. So that is really good news. And I will check back in with you once I have done the ribbing and cast off the ribbing, and then I will start on the sleeves. But I'll try it on after the ribbing's done too, just so you can see how that goes. Usually when I'm designing sweaters, I don't really try on mid-ribbing. I just kind of, I know it's kind of, it's a little bit irresponsible, but I eyeball it and then I go for it, and I usually like how it turns out. If not, I can always rip back, and I cry as I rip back my Italian bind off, but that is okay. That is all part of the process. I would rather do that than try to transfer to a stitch wire and then transfer back. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I will knit the ribbing, I will check back in with you, and I love this. All right, catch you guys later. Hey guys, so it's been a little while. I think it's been about 4-ish weeks since I last filmed with this on, and that's just because I've been on, I'm just gonna lean down a little bit. It's because I've been on vacation. I got a bit of a haircut, as you can see. Also, this has happened. But yeah, I finally have bound off. Actually, I bound off before I even went on vacation. I just forgot to record this for you. So now we're back and I'm showing you how it fits. But take it with a grain of salt because, again, that is not what I look like on a normal basis. So yeah, we've got all these textures on the sweater. We've got like a nice, doesn't fully cover the bump length, but that's fine because I don't know, I mean, I want to be able to wear it when I'm not pregnant, and so I think it's better to have a length that sits nicely on a normal basis. And I think the width is pretty good. I like that it comes in again at the bottom, so obviously this is bigger than I'm gonna be, but it'll be a bit, I can't really suck in my belly, but it'll be a bit oversized, and that was kind of the plan. And it'll get a little bigger too, because these are cables. When they block, they'll stretch out a little bit. So the next step in this sweater design is to pick up stitches for the collar. I mean, you could, whatever. I mean, people do sleeves and then collar last. I like to do collar first because it gives me a little bit of a mental break, because I have to do all this math that I did with the decreasing again when I do the sleeves. But the collar is just the same thing. It's gonna be this 1x1 ribbing, and I think I'll do a double folded collar. So usually what I do when I knit the collar is I transition to a slightly smaller needle size, and then I pick up 3 out of every 4 stitches along the sides, and then 1 stitch for every stitch on the front and the back. That's just the way I like to do it. And you know, I think that it works for my proportions, and it seemed to work for other designs so far. So that is what I will do with this one too. But yeah, I mean, again, I can't tell you exactly how the fit is supposed to be on a normal, like, me of 6 months ago body, but I think, just judging by how it fits around this part of my rib cage that still feels like the one slightly normal part of me, I think it fits pretty well. So yeah, quite happy with this. I don't know, I think it still looks good. It's just, it would be something that I would have to wear like over a dress, maybe, instead of over my pants like I'm wearing now. But yeah, I will check in when I have the collar complete. I might take you along for some of the collar knitting as well, just to show you how it goes. But yeah, really, really excited about how this is turning out. And yes, happy to be back into knitting. Talk to you guys soon. Okay, so I might have gone a little ham since the last time you guys saw me, because I said that I was going to do the neck and then I would check back in, but what actually happened was I did the neck. So this is the neck, first of all. Let's try to get in here so you can see it a bit better. I was going to do a double folded neckline, but instead what I went with was a folded kind of turtleneck situation. So yeah, you can kind of see, so this is like how long it is. It's about 14 centimeters, 13, 14. And I folded it over on top. So it's a bit of a turtleneck, but it comes a little bit lower in the front. It's very stretchy, has lots of room. It is a bit warm because it's the end of May. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot nicer when it's a bit colder outside. Try to see if I can show you the back of the neck. I'll get some photos and put them in there so that's easier for you to see. And then I did a whole sleeve and started on the other sleeve. And that's partly because my deadline for this design is the 1st of June, which is coming up very soon. So this is like, yeah, as I mentioned, the end of May. It's May 24th today. So yeah, this is the other sleeve. I just want to show you. So it's got all the same motifs as what I did on the body. So what I tried to do here, it was basically just the same math that I explained on the body, right? Like I calculated the total length that I wanted for the sleeve, and then I subtracted the ribbing length, and then I figured out how many repeats I would do of each motif. And it turned out to be about the same number as the body, actually, so that was pretty easy, pretty straightforward for me. And then I just tried it on, like, as I got closer. So when I finished chart A and chart B, then I tried it on and I was like, okay, where are we at? And then I finished chart C, and that gave me a much better idea of how many rows I needed on the last chart. And then I just finished the 1x1 ribbing with some Italian bind off. And that's exactly what I'll do on the next sleeve. So I've just finished chart A right now, and so I've got to knit B, C, D, and the ribbing, and then yeah, the sweater will be ready to block. So yeah, it looks a bit silly right now, doesn't it? It's not supposed to look like this. I don't know, I'll definitely finish the sweater before I have the baby, so I don't think I'll be able to show you what it looks like on, I don't know, what I look like normally. But yeah, I don't know, I still think it looks nice. I'm trying to imagine it on like a flatter belly. And maybe I will try it on, because whenever I show you, I'm just lounging around at home. So maybe I'll try it on over like a nice maxi dress or something, and that'll give me a better idea, and you a better idea of what it actually looks like as a sweater. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think the fact that it's stretchy enough that it like can go over this is a good sign. And I know that like I like oversized sweaters, and I think people generally do, like not super oversized, but you know, big enough that you don't feel like it's constricting you too much. You have some room to breathe. And of course, this will let out a bit in blocking. On the sleeve, I feel like my sleeves always get longer when I block, so it might be something that ends up here, and I might have to like do a fold over, and that's fine. I prefer my sleeves too long rather than too short. But yeah, this design process video is very quickly coming to an end. So I will check in with you again when I finish knitting the final sleeve, and then I'll show you the fit pre-blocking, and then we'll go ahead, we'll block together, and I'll take you through how I block sweaters. I don't know if that's something you're interested in, but I'll go through it anyway, and then I will show you what it looks like on after I block it. So yeah, so close to being done. Yeah. Catch you guys later. All right, so this is the finished sweater. Well, not finished. This is pre-blocking. So this is how all the texture looks together. I really like it. I think it flows. It looks good. Yeah, and obviously I can't say I'm happy with the fit because I haven't blocked it yet. But this, yeah. I think the texture will be a little bit more muted after blocking based on my swatches, but everything should kind of, because right now this is really pulling in, but I know that it won't so much after it blocks, and everything will just kind of look a little more cohesive with all the increases that I put into the body. And yeah, this is the neck. So yeah, I'm just going to take you guys through the blocking process. So usually the way that I do this is I block first, then I weave in the ends after, just to make sure I'm not weaving anything in too tightly. So yeah, that is the plan. So I will, yeah, let's go block this. And she's done. All right, you guys. So this is the final fit of my sweater, which I have named the Slate Sweater because I think that, I don't know, the texture kind of reminds me a little bit of slate countertops, something that resembles marble. Yeah, I just thought it was a nice fitting name. So this is her. You can see the texture is still pretty well defined, but blocking did kind of, I don't know, soften it a little bit. The sleeves got quite a bit longer, so I like a really nice long sleeve. I just like to be able to bury my hands in it. I totally get that that's not everyone's thing, but you can always cuff it up like this. Or knit fewer repeats is also an option. So yeah, this is it cuffed, and it's kind of funny because while I was filming this whole series, it's like you can kind of see my belly grow progressively. So now we're here, now we're 34 weeks pregnant. So obviously it'll fit very differently on someone who's not carrying a 5-pound human in their tummy, which hopefully I will be in like 2 months. But yes, I'm really happy with the way the fit turned out. Obviously, can't tell here, but on the back, I think it sits exactly where I want it to. I think that the neck turned out really nicely. It's nice and warm, but it's not like choky. Yeah, and I think it looks really nice. And yeah, I'm excited to get this pattern out there. And it was so much fun to detail the whole process with you guys. So I will definitely be doing these kinds of videos again, and hopefully I'm better next time at getting more B-roll footage. I think, like, filming this entire series of Design a Sweater with me from start to finish, because I had so many vacations and things where I had to put it down and, you know, come back to it. It took months, but usually my design process doesn't take that long. So hopefully I'll be able to put something like this together in the future and get it to you a little quicker and in a more, I don't know, decent time frame. So yes, Slate Sweater knit in Hobbii Tweed Delight, and this pattern will be released for free on Hobbie's page. So I will give you guys a shout out when that happens, and if you're interested in making one of your own, then you can go to the link and you can download it, and of course, as always, share your versions with me. It makes me so happy to see when you guys knit my designs. Yeah, it's actually raining outside right now. I don't know if you can hear it. It's a very cold June day up here in the Arctic Circle of Norway. So I have a sneaking feeling that I will be able to wear this sweater in the immediate future, because it still fits the bump and I think it still looks really cute. So yeah. Thank you so much for joining me on this whole process. It's been so lovely to share it with you, and I hope that you enjoyed this video and you found it fun, and I'll put some pictures that we took for the official photo shoot at the end of this video if you're interested in seeing some better quality photographs than just me kind of bending over to film for you guys. As always, if you liked the video, please go ahead and subscribe, leave me a comment. I love talking with you guys. And if you want to find me elsewhere other than YouTube, I'm over on Instagram and Ravelry as the Strukturstrikk, and you can find me on my own website, thestrukturstrikk.com. Until next time, you guys, happy knitting!